Blazblue Cross Tag Battle, aka BB Tag, one of the best fighting games of the last decade in my opinion. But I do have to say, they have a reputation of butchering characters, bruh. Like, I understand they want to make this game, this is weird, it's the final game in the series in terms of fighting games for a moment. I don't know if they're going to make another one because the creator of it left. But the weird thing is, this is the easiest one to play. And I guess they had to do that because they had to try to make all these characters fit into this game's mechanics, which make a lot of them suffer, and you won't get to feel the full extent of how unique they are. So today we're going to go over all the characters in the Blazblue category. We're going to do it per category. So we're going to start with Blazblue, and then we'll go into the other series that's involved in this. But I do have to say, first, even the cast got butchered. Like, even if we're just about the Blazblue side, the cast got butchered. Like, I don't know how. I feel like at a minimum, the original character should have made it from the first game, at least. But we didn't even get Irakune Bang. Carl, I'll let Carl them slide. Carl Relius, those characters can slide. Because I understand, I don't know how they're going to do that. But I figured at the same time, they've been butchering characters, why not put them in at this point? But, they did what they did. I will say, there's a lot of weird choices. Like, the story is over for Blazblue, but not putting Terumi in it as one of the big bads. I guess they gave us Susano for that something. And a lot of the other characters were more optional, but not having Izanami is crazy. One of the final villains, and I guess Ragna's sister and all that, if you go into the story and not get into the goddamn time travel and all this craziness. But it's kind of wild what they did to the cast. But let's go over all the characters, let's rank them in terms of how well they did. It's not going to be from best to worst, technically. It's just going to be an out of 10 system. Let's begin. I think Azrael had a really good transition compared to a lot of these characters into this game. They made him a lot more beginner friendly by taking away the weak point, like condition. You don't have to put the marks on them and then hit them with those specific attacks. You just have to land the attacks and have the right timing to press the button, which gives him still some difficulty in this game that other characters don't have. So I think he transitioned over very well, honestly. The essence of the character is still there. Like Blazblue, the drive is really important. So if you don't get that right, then it just kind of kills the character, I'm not going to lie. But Azrael had a really good transition, 9 out of 10. Celica is the one I'm leaning more towards they did well, but they made one dumb decision that ruined it. So Celica had this healing mechanic, and when she used it, it would give her special effects on her moves. She still has the mechanic, but it only applies when she doesn't have any red health, if I remember correctly, in this game. And the thing is, every hit basically in this game gives you some sort of red health except EX. So basically, she needs to be hit by an EX, or she has to try to. It's so dumb. I'm not gonna lie. They kind of ruined the way the character works. I think she is still fun. I think she's still a cool character, and I think they transferred her well enough. But not having the weird like health heal, like the weird green health bar she can get, and all of that, kind of ruined it. So I have to say, she had like a 6 out of 10 for me. Not even gonna try to waste y'all time on S. They went down the lazy route and just kind of gave her access to her crest arts at all times. That's all I can really say about it. So for S, she's gonna get like a 3 out of 10 for me. Anytime they just do something like that, it just kind of ruins it. So she gets a solid 3 out of 10. Like I said, I ain't even gonna say solid. She gets a shitty 3 out of 10. So Hakumen is like Scorpion in Injustice when he first released. This is one of those characters where you take him out of his element with some of his restrictions, and he becomes a menace. He's not like meta or anything like that. He hasn't been throughout the game's life. But the things he starts doing is unholy. Like the amount of freaking cancels he can do, since his big thing is like Nago without Blood Rage. He didn't have access to his Magatama meter. So without that, and he's having a normal gauge, he can just cancel things into himself over and over. And he'll just keep comboing. He can literally just do loops basically until he's out of meter. Especially if you know how to do them. But I digress. I do think they did an overall good job. The Magatama meter being gone is definitely a big hit to it, but that was one of the most notable things about him, is how he have a meter like nobody else that filled on its own, all of that stuff. But I'm gonna give him, I think they kept most of the stuff he needed. He kept his special cancels. He still has slashing and projectile to create the anti-projectile void thing. So I'm gonna give him a solid 8 out of 10. character is very fun to play. Hazama is very fun in this game. I'm not gonna lie. He's more fun to me in this game than he is in freaking actual Blazblue. But I do have to say they still butchered him because they took away a very important part of the character, which is all of his options after doing his grapple. So instead of being able to zip directly behind yourself, he just kind of zips wherever he went. And he can't zip how he wants. Like, he can't just shoot it into the air and go straight up if he wanted to. So them taking away his options for it is a big change in locking it behind an auto combo for the most part. I have to say, overall, they definitely ruined it. Izuyoi is one I'm not mad at in the slightest. I think they did as much as they could with her, and trying to still make this game beginner friendly. Even though she is still one of the more difficult characters, she do have some depth to her. So I do have to say, I think they did really good with Izuyoi. She's going to be the first character on this. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Jin was kind of butchered, believe it or not. The big thing about Jin that they took away is he doesn't have access to just kind of throwing out his drive if he needed to. So like that freaking, what was that, quarter screen thing when he just spawns ice out of his hand real quick? That's gone. He doesn't have access to just doing the freaking freeze like in front of him that has super frame advantage. He doesn't have the ice sword out the ground. None of this stuff is around anymore. He doesn't have access to just being able to randomly throw out something in neutral that can freeze you. So for that alone, I'm not gonna say he's butchered as a whole, because the rest of his kit is still there and it works the same. He still has his EX moves. It's just not as special because he was one of the few characters that had EX moves. So I have to say, they did hit him, but they didn't hit him enough for me to say he's dead. So I'm gonna give Jin a solid, I'm gonna give him a 7. I'm gonna have a confession to make. Even though I have this game on PC and it came with all the characters, I have never once played Jubei. So I'm gonna leave Jubei as a 5 because I don't know anything about him. The only thing I know is that they took away his install super. So I'm gonna leave Jubei as a 5. Y'all let me know what y'all think on that one. Mai was severely murdered, I have to say. Yeah, she kept access to her spear charge and all of that, and canceling into the flip and all of that. That stuff is still there. The tipper is all there. I don't know what the fuck is the point of the tipper in BB tag, really, but she has it. But the main thing she lost is those variable arts. She doesn't have access to all these random combinations of strings. So I think she's a character that shouldn't have made it to the game to begin with. So this might be a controversial take. I am giving her main thing being taken away, I have to give her a straight up 0 out of 10. They did a really good job with transferring Makoto over. She actually feels like how I expected her to feel in this sort of game. She still has her charge, all of that good stuff. She has her charge, she still has her, comet cannon, the freaking projectile. She still has asteroid vision. She has all her moves basically. And if there's anything she's missing, the stuff she's missing isn't crazy. So I have to say, they did a really good job with her. I can't be mad at anything. Her combos are still relatively the same. As far as I can tell, the only thing she lost is her level 1 charge combos. But as a whole, the character still does what the fuck she's been doing for the longest. So I have to say, Makoto's a solid 9 out of 10 on that one. Naruto transferred over so well. I was surprised with how they handled this. I thought they would have just made him a super easy mode character, but I guess if they did that, he would have been Ragna exactly just with hands. So they had to transfer over some of it, and they pretty much brought him over the best way they could have. He still has everything he had before, basically. Of course, combos aren't the same, but he still has access to his freaking dash cancel mechanic, enhancing moves, and it's still relatively difficult to do some of his combos. For this game's level of execution, it's still pretty high. So, the way they handle Naruto, he's 100% getting a 10 out of 10 for me. Funny enough, 9 gets a 9 out of 10. They did a really good job bringing her over, don't get me wrong, fantastic job. The only thing I would say that really hurts that she lost, in my opinion, is the idea of having a stocked spell on standby. But she is so good in this game anyway, the way she works. So I have to say, it's a lot easier to manage your spells in this game. Obviously, since they had to make it easier, and she's so much easier to play. So I have to say, 9, they did really good with her. I can't say any really bad things. The stock would have made her a 10 out of 10, but I see why they didn't bring it in. So, 9 did her thing. New is getting a 10 out of 10 from me. From what I can tell, she didn't really lose anything. She has her freaking weird dashes still. She has her freaking zoning tools. She still has the Calamity Sword. She has her supers. Like, as far as I know, she isn't missing anything. She has Gravity Seed still, but I think it's part of an assist instead, but it's still in the game. So I can't be mad at that. They did a really good job. They did perfect with her, honestly. I can't really think of, off the top of my head, nothing that was missing at all. Like, 9 was missing stocks. But New, I don't think is missing any of her tools. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure she has her whole kit. Platinum is a really odd case. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The only reason I have to say that Platinum is weird is because she has all of her tools for the most part, but the big thing is she doesn't have the RNG, which is a really defining part of her character. So, for the fact that she has the tools but loses the RNG side, it brings her down to like a 6 as a whole. But I would like to see them change her, but we already know this game isn't changing, so yeah. Rachel is a 10 out of 10, and I'm gonna say that because, yeah, she's one of the characters who's pretty much is a normal character, but her drive is locked behind her auto combo. But the big thing about it is, first off, it's locked behind doing special moves or certain attacks during auto combo, but on top of that, you still have the free will of controlling it how you want. So for that alone, Rachel gets to get a 10 out of 10. I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't know how they could have done Ragnar. It's not that he's complicated, it's that he's the main character, so they always want him to be, you know, easy to play. But at the same time, it's like, it's so lame. It doesn't even feel like he has his drive in the game anymore since it's just built into his normal combos. So you don't really get to feel the power behind the moves as much, or the life draining effect. But he's Ragnar, you know, he's still the same character we've all been. He still has God Kick, all that good stuff. So Ragnar is gonna get a 7 out of 10. Because the spirit of the character is still there. It's just the impact behind his drive isn't there. Now for the finale, we're gonna do these two at the same time. It's Susano and Tager. Those two are both a 0s out of 10. Hot take. The reason I say it is, these are two characters that are strictly balanced around the way they play. So, Tager is balanced around the magnetism system, and Susano balanced around unlocking his moves. The thing is, they both have that removed in this game. Susano at round start has access to every move, which shouldn't have been the thing for a character that's damages as high as his. And then when it comes to Tager, you're automatically magnetized at all times. Such a bad idea. Never try to do something like this again. They don't even feel like they're playing the same game anymore. But I digress. That's my list. Let me know if y'all agree with this. Of course, talk to me when it comes to New and Jubei, because I really didn't know much about Jubei. But I'm ending it right here. Like and subscribe for more of this, all that good stuff. We have to cover the other fates. But that's it from me, True Kingsden, and I'm out.